Welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Age of Sail. In the last episode we faced off against the Dutch and we took a couple of their large warships as reparations for joining the so-called alliance against Britain. To commemorate this occasion, we're going to rechristen a couple of the ships that we captured and integrated into our fleet. The Conquerant will become the HMS Ardent. There we go. And the HMS Minotaur, keeping with the Greek theme, we will rename her Artemis, just so she's in line with our naming convention. The 2nd of April 1801. The Danish weren't scared off by our first attempt to convince them to leave the Second League of Armed Neutrality, so now we have sent you and your fleet to convince them by capturing their capital of Copenhagen. Our ships are attempting to enter the harbour of the Danish fleet outside Copenhagen. The Danes have formed a blockade at the harbour's inlet, using older ships not fit for sea. Denmark's capital is also defended by bastions on both sides of the harbour inlet and the forts of Castellet, Trekkenor, and two others I didn't catch because I clicked. Our plan for the British ships is to approach the weaker southern end of the Danish defences in a line parallel to the Danish ones. As the foremost ship draws alongside a Danish ship, it will anchor and then commence boarding. We must show the Danes that continued aggression is no longer worth the cost, and thus they will withdraw. And so our fleet arrives at the capital of the Danes. Very, very beautiful sight. We now have 3 ships of the first-rate ships of the line, and we're slowly integrating the rest of the fleet into second rates. But for now, our trusty third rates will suffice. Victory, Vengeance, and Valor are our first rates, and they're all together. They're followed up by Audacity and Ardent. In the second line we have Artemis, which is our newly named ship, the Arrogant, formerly the Arrogante, the Ardent, the Astute, and the Alceste. HMS Arrogant didn't come with us in the last mission as there wasn't enough space, and I wanted to give some other crews some experience. So we're moving into the harbour inlet now. A one-way trip with this wind. It appears we have some other ships there on the mini-map up to the north, but they don't seem to be under my control. Making good speed into the harbour. 8.5 knots. Guns to the ready. Now, this is a very similar style battle to the Battle of the Nile, where we attacked the French fleet at anchor. But these guys are prepared as a blockade, as a defensive blockade, so we'll see if they act differently. They also have the forts there, which will make coming in on the western side a little bit tricky. I'm not sure they can reach out that far. But time will tell. So the first of our formations come, we'll have one on each side of the ships. Depending on how they react, we will adapt accordingly. Victory has opened fire with her 4 guns, 2 cannons on the front. The Dannebrog is responding with her prow guns. Coming in up alongside to do our trademark boarding action. HMS Victory, 1,200 men. Okay, so the Danes are now using the wind to do a tricky little maneuver to flick the ship around. I can't remember what that maneuver is called. But ships of the line were known to do it in extreme emergencies. It involves going full sail with the wind coming at you over the bow. Now, one of the Danes' smaller ships has come to be aggressive. Dannebrog has shown her stern to us now. And we might try and board this smaller ship. If we can grab her with the lines, we should be able to haul her in. If not, we'll just spray her with grape shot. 43 men killed in that first broadside. With more on the other side. The Dannebrog also taking casualties. Over 150 penetrations into the hull on both ships together. Making matchsticks out of them. Artemis has come up on the starboard side of the Dannebrog. Also hitting with grape shot. We've had a shift in the wind there to the northeast. And so Dannebrog will be able to run away now. We've got the lines out. We're hoisting her in. Hitting the sail too so we can try and match speed. Turning away to the starboard side. To get some angle there. Line her up. Match the speed. Turn Arrogant away with her formation. They have been blocked now. And so far our plan to run up the starboard side of the formation has failed. Looks like the formation is now trying to come down that side. That's probably for the best so we don't get hit by the coastal artillery. Artemis is now boarding. Dannebrog has surrendered and she's under our control and she's taking some hits already from the Holstein. The next Danish ship in this line. We'll get victory on the boarding action. If I were really masterful, I'd be boarding each ship sequentially with the rest of my ships coming up astern, but they stop when they're in formation. So that's a lot of micro, and I do want to have fun. We've thrown the lines on HMS Victory. Holstein is now being hoisted in. This will be our second boarding action of the day. It's not even 10:25 and we have 2 Danish ships that we are boarding. Try and get Dannebrog out of this inlet, but there's no real escape now that we're in the harbour. Victory has commenced her boarding action. We'll get Vengeance past to intercept the next Danish ship. Oh, we have a large Danish ship coming up astern from the south. That looks like a very large ship. Holstein has now surrendered. The Charlotte Amalia is coming up next. She's going to be our next target. Get a crew across onto the Holstein. She's now ours as well. Victory has a very experienced crew, so anyone that we put on board another ship will already be at 3 stars. I've been stacking my best crews in the flagship and working my way down. So Victory has the second best crew, Valor has the third best crew, etc, etc. I find that's been a really good way to train up the crews and make sure that my flagships have the best stocked men and skilled men. And so for most engagements we've been able to sort of smash them in the first foray and then follow it up with some boarding actions and it's really over. I'm hoping that's what we're going to do here. Keeping in mind that we have the Danish coming up our from the south. Vengeance is now boarding the Charlotte Amalia. And Infodstretten. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I'm sure there will be a few Danish viewers. I'll be interested to know how it differs. Grape shot out. We're not going to be able to catch her on the boarding, so we'll keep going up the line. There's plenty more British ships to intercept her. Her former allies, the Holstein, are putting fire across her bow. We're sort of stalled completely. The Agacious has surrendered. They realized it's no good to fight. But now this Danish warship is coming up from the south, has put fire across Ardent's stern. We need to get everybody moving. Sort of lost our momentum a bit. Infodstretten's going through the center. She's not going to like that idea. Agarshus is now under our command. I'll try and get all the prize ships out towards the reef on the harbour. Oh, Valor and Victory are going to collide. Everyone's going to collide at this rate. We have quite a traffic jam. They are slowly peeling out in a line, but it's taking some wiggling. We've got 3 formations. Ardent's weathering that fire fairly well. It's a very large Danish ship coming up. Got to be at least the second rate. We'll turn Artemis about. Get Ardent around to actually start fighting her. Audacity can come up and assist her sister. And the third rate's going to assault the rest of the fleets that were at anchor. Vengeance will attempt to tie up Infostretten. No real sign of fire from the coastal emplacements. So HMS Ardent is come about and now she's firing on the Denmark. Second rate. She's got Audacity there helping. They have overlapping fire slightly, so we'll turn Ardent in. We'll try and catch her on a boarding. Cross her T and board her with Ardent. Meanwhile, the third rates are making their way down the line. No boarding actions yet. We're just putting really heavy fire on each ship. Things are looking fairly good. Right, we'll try and take this second rate here, the Slayland. Or Slaland. The Hilperren. And the Provostinen. All boarding actions are commenced now that the 3 third rates are lined up with their targets. Try and get 3 consecutive boarding actions. And we'll try and get another onto this one here. Holstein can move down and support. We've caught her with the lines and she's dragging us backwards. Arrogant's taking a fair amount of damage in these close-range broadsides. The third rates are really starting to show that they're not as heavy as we thought. Getting some crew down to Arrogant, she's starting to flag. She's flooding. Uh-oh. Are we going to lose Arrogant? We better not. I made a promise that we'd keep her. Stacking the men up. 800 men. She is versing a large ship. She is outclassed in weight. The Infodstretten has surrendered. Getting pounded from all sides. She's trying to make a desperate dash to join up with the other Danes to the south. Arrogant's boarding action seems to be under control. We are flooding the Arrogant though. We're taking on water, and while we're engaged in the fight, we can't do damage control. We need to really finish that fight quickly. Audacity, Ardent have pinned the Denmark between them. The other ships of the line are turning to join that fight, but at the moment we have them circled. Dannebrog, you're just in the way. HMS Valor is sitting still, but still firing. The Sleland has surrendered. Fortunately, we need to cut the lines on that ship so Arrogant can get her damage control underway. Both ships are fairly damaged, so we'll need to put a crew actually across rather than a skeleton crew. Infodstretten is sitting there surrendered. Drop some crew, get them in the boats and onto the decks. Hoist the flag and get them underway. HMS Valor acting as a roadblock for Infodstretten. Denmark is about to be pincered. We're really hoping to catch her in a boarding action now. Her options for escape are running out. coming in hot. Switching to grape shot. The Agassiz has surrendered. Is that one of our ships? Oh, it was. We boarded that. Or did we leave it and not man it? Who knows? It's only a little one, so it's not too concerning. We've managed to split them up. They haven't been able to reinforce the blockade convoy. And now we're running them out of the harbour inlet. HMS Ardent's taking a fair amount of damage. The 3 third rates are really feeling it this battle. HMS Victory is moving down to give some support. We'll try and tidy up this line. The wind is moving over towards the reef, so this is going to make it a little bit dicey to move around. Aragon is taking lots of damage. Oh, we are in trouble. We've lost a lot of crew. We need to get her out of the engagement. Her fight is now done. Astute can be her escort out of danger. Fortunately, her enemy is showing her stern, so there isn't too much of a threat anymore. Victory is coming down. Get a boarding action underway. We've lost a Lieutenant Rowley Skinner. He's been killed in action. Audacity's running out to sea. Where are you going? Nonetheless, we have managed to stop that exit out of the bay, so they won't be able to run from the fight. If we can turn Audacity around, she can offer fire support from the south. Oh, we've lost a mast on one of our prize ships. Get the boats in for the Agassiz. We've lost another. Lieutenant Humphrey Laserly has been killed in action. On the Vagrant versus the HMS Victory. The boarding action was just about to commence. He must have taken some musket fire. So that end of the engagement looks to be wrapping up. These Danish ships prove to be a little bit stronger, especially in close range. They have very good close range cannon. My third rates have really been feeling it the last 2 battles, like this battle and the previous one. HMS Alsace is taking fire from a few different directions. Audacity wasn't able to offer support, so I've got her coming back down into the fight. The Danes have decided to stay close to their harbour rather than bringing the fight out to sea. Artemis is trying her best to board, but she just can't get ahead. And we're about to run aground on this shoal here. We've lost another Sub-Lieutenant. Ralph Rogers killed in action. Charlotte Amalia has a lot of flooding going on, and her main mast is down. Not sure we'll be able to save her. Ardent is in a close range fight with the Danemark, and Ardent's taken a lot of damage. Her armor has been compromised. The Trecrona has surrendered. Starting to finalize, we're pushing the Elephantin out into the open water. Managed to avoid a collision with the shoals. Denmark is probably the only real threat left. Ardent has taken a fair amount of damage, so we need to stop this gunfight, and get a boarding action underway. Perhaps even a ramming action. What would that do? These 2 large warships ramming each other. We'll get Vengeance down to try and intercept her as well. We have the benefit of the wind. Collision didn't seem to do anything, but it does give us the opportunity to come past her stern. Artemis is hard up on the reef. The Elephanton is trying to make a dash for open water. Audacity is there to meet her with a cannon broadside reply. Grape shot ripping through the decks. Artemis coming up on Mars. Probably getting the final boarding actions underway for the battle. We've thrown the lines. Audacity has managed to reel in the Elephant. Ardent is a lot more safe than she was before, on the stern of the Danish large warship. Infodstretten is slowing down the formation. Third rates have seen better days, but they will live to fight another day. The Mars is really pinned. So I'm confident that we've got this battle in the bag. I'll clean up the stragglers and I'll see you at the victory screen. That concludes the Battle of Copenhagen. Of the 14 Dutch ships deployed, we captured 11 and sunk the other 3. 7,000 Danes were lost in the battle. We did lose a couple of our experienced officers. Our reputation about to soar to new heights as we cash in on all of the reputation from these third rates that we captured, an absolute butt ton of third rates. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, and 2 second rates. We'll keep those, definitely keeping the 2 second rates. If you've come this far, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel because I have plenty more adventures to come. Commander Tyrael, out.